Hey guys, it's good to be back. Haven't made a lot of videos recently, but I wanted to make a new updated antique glass bottle date codes video. My last one actually got 36,000 views, so I was really surprised to see that. It just keeps going up after all these years. It's been up since 2017, and the views keep climbing. So I figured it was only in order to redo the video and basically update all of the mistakes that I made explaining some of the date codes in the first one. Uh, they were relatively minor, but I actually cover a completely different brand in this one. I'm not sure if I even touched Thatcher Manufacturing Company specifically in the first video, and I'll give you a little bit a little bit of information about Hemingway insulators at the very end if you watch. So, um, this video is really long, but you can skip through if you need to find your specific bottle. Obviously, this does not cover nearly even close to the amount of common bottling companies and glass manufacturers that there have been, but these are three of the most common ones that I personally have come across. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and really learn some information from it. All right, so first up here, I'm going to cover one of the most iconic bottles in American history, the Coca-Cola Hobble Skirt. Now, most of these were made by the same glass company, so almost every single one of them you're going to find has a date code. I'd be willing to bet that over 90% of them have a date code, considering all of the ones from my hometown, including this one, do. They're made by Owens, Illinois, a company that made bottles for just about every brand in existence. They were a really huge company. I have a few Durglass bottles, which are the same company. Owens, Illinois basically made Durglass. I think it was just a type of glass and not really actually a company itself. But anyway, this is a really nice 1938 Coke bottle I dug this year. This will be in a future video. It'd be really nice if I could get that residue on the inside out. I don't really know what that is, but I found this with the cap on it. There's no liquid inside, obviously. Someone had punched a hole through the cap to get the liquid out. They must not have had a bottle opener. I don't know. It was in the middle of the woods, so I can't imagine it. If you didn't have a bottle opener, that'd be the only way you could get it open. But that's besides the point. I'm going to show you how to find the date code on a Coke bottle. So usually there will be markings like this on one side of the Coke bottle. You might not see it at first. Just turn it around and check. Don't get scared if you don't see one, because they only put it on one side. But you'll see this little marking. I was just focused. Now it's not. All right, there we go. That is the Owens, Illinois glass company marking, and usually there will be a single digit like a 6 you can see right there, but then there's a 2-digit number, and that is almost always the year. So that is a 1938. That is the oldest Coke bottle I've ever seen from my town. I actually got two 38s this year, but this was the nicer one. I'll show the other 38 if I have it out, but I'm not sure if I do. But yeah, so Coke bottles always have this little date code on the side here, unless they're either newer or made by a different company, but very rarely does that happen. This is another example right here, just to show how sometimes the numbers are a lot more visible than the one I just showed. This is another Coke bottle from Tupper Lake. I really love finding these ones. This one I also found, I believe, in 2018 or 2019. But as you can see right there, there's a 48. I can't tell if that's just a dot or a bubble by the number, but I consider this one a 1948 because I can't really tell if that dot is intentionally put there or if it's just a flaw. But you can see the Owens, Illinois logo right there. It's a lot bigger on this one. As time went on, they made it a lot easier to see the date codes. But yeah, this is another nice example of a Coke bottle from Tupper. But I'm going to show you Christmas Coke that I have from Port Henry, New York. Now, this one has a date code as well, but there's some clues you can use with the Coke bottles if you don't have a date code to find the year that they were made. Not the exact year actually, but you can find the range of when they were manufactured. So, Coca-Cola patented bottles on December 25th, 1923, hence the name Christmas Cokes. Um these ones are really iconic. People love finding these ones. I only have one of them. It's this one. I've heard the Port Henry Cokes are harder to come by, but I'm not really sure. It's kind of close to where I'm from. But this one actually does have a date code. And if you turn it, as you can see, barely, it's a 1937. And Coca-Cola actually patented their next bottles that say bottle patented with the number here. Those ones are post 1937. I don't know that just from this bottle, but I've researched the patent dates, and every Coke bottle that is newer than the December 25th, 1923 ones that has the bottle Pat D in the list of numbers, those ones are 1937 and on. These Christmas Cokes, 1923 to 1937. And the Coke bottles that say November 1915, I can't remember the exact day. It's either November 16th or 15th. Those ones are 1915 to 1937 as well, because I have seen ones made after the patent date for December 25th, 1923. And I actually have one from 1926 that's a patent 1915. It's a little confusing, but most of them have date codes, so regardless of the patent date or what's listed on the bottle, a lot of times you'll be able to just find a code anyway. But I hope that clears it up for Coke bottles. I just wanted to do a quick example on Durglass too. These are also Owens, Illinois bottles. This is actually a Tupper Lake Orange Crush bottle, bottled by the same company that bottled Coke here, Fernet Brothers. You can see the Owens, Illinois logo on the bottom of these Durglass bottles, and the number next to it is a 54. So this example, hence the 54, would be a 1954. It's kind of self-explanatory on Owens, Illinois bottles. It's basically just learning where to find the markings. Usually it's on the side of Coke bottles, and every other bottle I've seen it on the bottom. So this Orange Crush right here that I had standing upside down so you could see, this one is a 1954 just by looking at the bottom of it. This one's in really nice shape. These are kind of hard to come by. Really cool to have the town name on the back too. I love ACL soda bottles, so the Orange Crush ones are definitely one of my favorites. But that clears up Durglass. I want to say that this Franklin Dairy, which is a beautiful half pint and really hard to come by from Tupper Lake. This one... oh yeah, this one's also a Durglass, so I can use this as an example too. This one is a little strange though. It has both a 51 and a 49, but judging by the location of the numbers, there's a 17 right there, a 49, and a 51. The 51 is a lot larger, and usually you don't see that on Durglass bottles. So this one, where the 49 is across from what would be a mold number or a plant number from Owens, Illinois, I'm not really sure which. This one would be a 1949. Oh, I just realized too, it's got the Owens, Illinois logo right on the side of the bottle after it says sealed. Yeah, so this is a really cool bottle I picked up last year in September, over a year ago now. But Franklin Dairy bottles are really nice from Tupper. They're harder to come by than the Altamontes. As you can see, I got one here. But I love the Franklin Dairy bottles because I live really close to where the plant used to be. But I hope that clears up Durglass bottles. They're also Owens, Illinois, but they're a little bit different than the Coke bottles, but not much. They still almost always have a 2-digit date code. Some of them do have a 1-digit date code, but those are from the 30s. So if you get one where you can only find a single digit, chances are it's a 1930 blank. So say it had a 4 and you couldn't find anything else, it would be a 1934. I'll actually get one of my Altamont milk bottles that I dug this year out to show you one of those examples. So here we got a quart-sized Altamont Milk Company bottle that I dug. I actually dug 8 of these this year, 6 embossed, 2 ACL. It was a really good year for finding local bottles, but these ones actually have the single-digit date code. I'm not sure if I'm on the right side here to show it. Oh, nope, I had it upside down. So, as you can see here, you got the Owens, Illinois logo, I believe a 17 on one side and a 3 on the other side. Now, the 17 is on almost every bottle I see, and Altamont Milk Company was not founded until 1920, and I believe Owens, Illinois Glass Company might be newer than 1917 as well. Don't quote me on that, though. There's a good website that I'll list right now to find your actual manufacturer called glassbottlemarks.com. I recommend it if you can't identify which company your bottle is from. That's what I've basically used to get some of my information. Anyway, though, this 3 signifies a 1933. Since it's a single digit and there's no other like 2-digit number on here except the 17, it's safe to assume that the 3 stands for 1933. Perfectly fits the time period for this milk bottle. Tupper Lake, we had a lot of 30s embossed bottles. We didn't really get into the pyroglaze game until the mid 40s. So this one is definitely a 1933. In fact, all of the ones I found at the dump were 33s, so it's possible Altamont had a large batch made in 33, or that they were all thrown away around the same time. I just know that I really only find, like, out of all the ones I've got from different places, I really only find 1929s and 1933s so far. My pint-sized one, I believe, is a 32, though. So, depending on size, they had different dates. But this one, you can also see, not sure if I can really get it focused, but bottles that have a BB48 were made with molds from a company called Bernie Bond. Owens, Illinois took them over at one point. So, usually, if you see this and the Owens, Illinois logo, I can't remember what year they took them over, but they definitely took them over, and you'll also see the Owens, Illinois logo if it's after the takeover. A lot of times they just didn't remove the old logo. This next segment is going to be even more useful for milk bottle collectors. There's another really big company that I have identified on a lot of my milk bottles, called Thatcher Manufacturing Company. They were a huge glass company that operated for a pretty long time. I'm not sure if they still do, but first of all, before I tell you how to do the date codes, anytime you see this MTC logo, let me lay it down because it might be easier to focus on. Anytime you see this MTC logo, 1923 to the 1950s. They use that logo for that time period, so anytime you see that on a bottle and it's just a standard MTC with no notches or anything that just looks normal, like I said, 1923 to 50s. It's not a perfect reference because I guess it could have been used later than that if it was on old molds being used after the 50s, but it's definitely only as old as 1923. This pair of bottles I have right here are 2 of the most cherished bottles in my entire collection. Both local, both Franklin Dairy slug plates. These are so hard to come by, and I've been lucky enough to get 2. I've only ever seen 3, actually. I was trying to buy the third one before, too, but it went for too much money. Anyway, though, I bought one of these, and I was given one of these. I also found broken pieces of one at a new dump this year, so I'm hoping maybe, just maybe someday, I will dig one of my own as well. But now let's just get to the date codes. I know a lot of people aren't here for the stories about my bottles, probably. And this video already is pretty long, but I want to be a little more comprehensive than I was in my first video. So this one is the one I was given. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I move it more towards the light, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But there is that MTC on the bottom right there. And there's also a 40. So this one, like the Owens, Illinois bottles, very self-explanatory. If you have a milk bottle, a lot of times you just flip it over and on the bottom there will be an MTC and a 2-digit number. And the 2-digit number is just your date code. So this one's a 1940. Makes sense because Fost, which was what downtown Tupper Lake used to be. I know it's a little confusing because a lot of people just refer to downtown as the business district, but we actually have 2 business districts here. So one's uptown, one's downtown. I live in the downtown area, so I would have lived in Fost if it had never been renamed. Fost was renamed in 1940, so fits the time period perfectly. It's a little bit newer for a slug plate actually, but it's a really, really nice bottle. These ones so hard to come by. This next one is the one I bought this year, almost a year after I got that one, because I got that one on Thanksgiving 2019 from a relative. This is a 1939, and I bought it off eBay. I don't know if I will be able to focus this one as well either. But, oh yeah, you can see on this one, it's a little bit more rudimentary of a date code than the last one, but this one has a 9. And I don't believe there's even an MTC on the bottom of this one. But if you have a single digit on the bottom of a Thatcher Manufacturing Company bottle, it's not in that weird circle in the middle of the bottle, chances are it's the date code. So it would be 30s. Using the context of how long Franklin Dairy operated, I can eliminate it being a 29 because Franklin Dairy opened in 1932 and Fost was gone after 1940, and as you've seen, they had two-digit date codes after 1940, obviously. So it's really easy to say that this one is in 1939. I hope that clears up some of the older Thatcher Manufacturing Company bottles, but I also have this Altamont milk bottle I'll show you guys too. So Altamont actually operated in both Tupper Lake and Carthage, New York, and this is one of the rare variants where both town names are on it. Not super old for a bottle, but it amazes me that they embossed their milk bottles as late as almost 1960. The company operated from 1920 to 1974. One of my family members worked for them, so there's a lot of history that I know about with Altamont. This is a really nice bottle that was traded to me by Relic Digger, so if you guys aren't subscribed to him, definitely go check out his channel. I know he told me that he's going to be putting out some more content soon, so you guys should definitely go check it out. He does a lot of bottle digging, whereas I don't do that many bottle digging videos, but I'm trying to do more content like that because I know a lot of people love watching bottle digging videos. Anyway, though, to get to the point, Thatcher Manufacturing Company made bottles later than what I said, just the 50s. As you can see, this one is a 50s one, but I'll show you the logo that's on the side in a second. You'll see an E usually on milk bottles and a 59. I guess it could be a different letter, but also a different number, but the 2-digit number is the date code. This is self-explanatory too. Really, this video is probably only confirmation for people that it's a date code because a lot of people are smart enough to find that out on their own, I would imagine. But anyway, you can see it's a little bit different, like fancier logo on the side where it says MTC. That logo is used post 1950s or late 50s. But yeah, I hope that clears up Thatcher Manufacturing Company. They made a crap load of milk bottles back in the day. I'll show you this one real quick too. Really nice Pyroglaze Altamont. I bought this one this year. I dug up a bunch of these and I'm in the process of actually hand restoring the ACL myself. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but this one's a little bit harder to see. But you can see there's an E50. If you can't see it, then oh, there we go. That looks better. This one, same thing. 1950, the 2 digits, just the date code. Um, but yeah, Thatcher Manufacturing Company, really common to see on milk bottles. So the last glass company that I'm going to cover today is Reed Glass Company out of Rochester, New York. Fairly large company that actually did a lot of manufacturing in the 20s and closed in 1936, I want to say. Um, they did a lot of the bottles for Tupper Lake that I have, which it's really nice because they were one of the first companies that I know of that really did a consistent date code. And it's easy to decipher on most bottles because it's 2 digits, just like the other ones. Um, I mean, they didn't last as long as the other companies, but they certainly had date codes consistently. Um, this first one, this is a clear, patented July 20, 1920 Orange Crush bottle. These ones are really cool, and the fact that I've only ever seen two from Tupper Lake, and I just happen to own both of them, um, really, really, really special bottles in my collection. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it says Reed on the heel. Sometimes Reed bottles would have that marking, just the simple name of the company. And this one too, you can see. Well, I don't know if you can see. I just assume you can. My focus isn't working very well. It's a 1922. It's just got a 2 digit date code, just like Owens, Illinois, and Thatcher Manufacturing Company. And surprisingly, Reed is like one of the only companies I've seen do it this consistent and this early for date codes. Most companies didn't do it till mid 30s from certain bottles that I've seen. I mean, it may just be a thing for me living in New York that I'm not finding bottles with older date codes because I have seen some online, but I really don't think it's a common thing. But Reed would always do a 2 digit date code except for when they were about to close, which is weird. They did 1 digit date codes in the 30s. But the cool thing is almost all of the 20s ones have a 2 digit. That one, that Orange Crush has a 22, like I said, even if it didn't show up on camera that well. This next one is a Plouf's Beverages from Tupper Lake. Both of these are local, like I said. Reed had their own special logo that was an R and a triangle. Very, very easy to identify these unless it's an old mold where it's really hard to see the logo. But this happens to be a 1925 because once again, if I can get it to focus, it's been a common issue making this video. It's really faint, but next to this 832, there's a 25. That might be the best I can get it right here. It kind of looks like a 26, but I can see it and it's a 25. But usually the date code on Reed bottles would be somewhere on the heel. On the later ones, it's on the bottom with their company logo. And the 30s, I think I've seen the earliest one with a single digit is a 1932. The newest one I've seen is a 36. But 36 is the year they closed. So, this is a really nice bottle too, like the Orange Crush. Like I said, these are really hard to come by. I own the only two I've ever seen of these clear Orange Crushes from Tupper Lake. I know they're from Tupper Lake because it says Props on the bottom, which was a bottling company here. And it was dug up here, so it would make sense. I didn't dig it. I was given it when I was starting out my collection by a really nice man that my dad worked with. They both worked for the DPW, and they used to dig up bottles back in the day. And they actually, the guy saved a bunch. He passed on most of his collection, if not all of it, to me. So that's a cool story, but story for a different time. Real quick, before I end this video, I want to throw in a quick little bonus because I know a common issue that people have is finding the date codes on glass insulators too. Unfortunately, Hemingway is one of the only companies that did it, if not like the main company that did date codes, and it was only after 1930. So it can be a little bit harder to find the dates on older insulators. I know Hemingway.info is a really good site too. I'll list that in the description along with glass bottle marks. It's a really helpful site for Hemingway insulators. Helps you identify CD numbers, also manufacturing dates, like a range. But this Hemingway 42 is clear or ice blue. I want to say it's just a normal clear one, but I can't really tell in this lighting. It can be deceiving sometimes. But as you'll see, it has a single-digit date code of an 8. It also has 11 dots, though. And I know for a fact that on Hemingway insulators that the dots are standing for 1 year. So you add up all of the dots, and there's 11 dots on this one. And an 8 would be in 1938. So 11 years after would be 1949. It's kind of simple. It's just harder to distinguish than like an Owens, Illinois bottle or Thatcher bottle. I just know that Owens, Illinois actually made some Hemingways too, but I just know that the dots actually do stand for years on these ones. I'm not 100% sure like on the Coke bottles, but usually they wouldn't have them anyway. So I just wanted to throw this quick piece of information in too, because people get a lot of these Hemingways, the clear ones they manufactured so many of. After the 40s though, late 40s, early 40s, sometimes they would actually do a 2-digit date code, sometimes with dots. So that's easy to distinguish too. I was just thinking too, Armstrong, and I don't know if it was Armstrong that bought Whittle Tatum. They did date codes as well. I want to say Kerr insulators have them. Pyrex didn't. I'm not 100% sure. But I actually have a 2-digit date code insulator that I found. As you can see here, there is, let's see. There's a 14. Oh, nope, that's a 16 for the mold number and a 56. No dots, so that's a 1956 Hemingway 9. Little short stubby one because I believe they changed them to save glass. The older ones have a larger dome, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really hoping that people start seeing this one too, because this one is a lot more helpful than my first one, despite how much information I had in it before. I'm a little bit better. Like I don't make the same mistake anymore where I thought my 1939 Coke bottle, which I didn't show in this video, was a 33, but it was made after they patented the new ones that say Pat D, which they patented those in 1937. So little things like that. Also, a little funny joke. I used to pronounce the S in Illinois. I know some people still do, but I had a lot of people call me out for that in the comments. It was kind of funny. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for future content. I really hope this video helped. Feel free to reply in the comments too if you have any questions. I don't mind looking up stuff for my subscribers, or even if you're not subscribed. But I really enjoy studying the history of old bottles, so don't hesitate to ask me questions. I'm not a know-it-all with bottles, but I do know a lot. So also, like I said, stay tuned for future videos. I'm going to be doing some more, hopefully this week, if not next week. I appreciate you guys viewing this video, just like all of the views I got in the last one. It really means a lot that people really enjoy my content that much as a smaller YouTuber. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future content.